Welcome, everybody, to the Joe Lee podcast, the Divisional Round Edition. As always, I'm your host, Joseph, and accompanied by me is...
Hey, I'm Lee. We're back for the podcast of this week. Hope you guys enjoying the Wildcard weekend. Joseph, I have a first question for you. This is very important. How did you enjoy the Wildcard weekend?
I think I fell asleep through at least two games because they were just blowout games, so there was no point in continue watching.
Yeah.
But man, some of these games were not very good. I think there's only two games that were really interesting. It's really showing that adding another playoff team into the playoffs was not really that great of an idea. Just because, again, only two out of the 6 games that we got this weekend, 7, 7? No. Only 2 games out of all the games this weekend were interesting, and it was pretty much just the Bengals game and the 49ers game. Those were the only 2 games that were remotely close to being an interesting game. So yeah, that was kind of my overarching opinion about this week. What about you? Did you find any enjoyment in some of these games?
Yeah, honestly, it was really boring for a lot of games because I remember we were messaging each other on Twitter and just comment on how boring some of these games were. Now, if you look at the game outcomes, I think Niners is the only team that who's not like a division winner that actually wins the game. The rest of them, they lost, right? If you look at
a lot of
wild
cards much dropped.
Yeah.
So so that was our overarching opinion about the wild card weekend.
It was painful.
It was painful. It was very painful.
It was painful to watch.
So speaking of pain, I think it is time for the 49ers report of the week. So I will start us off because I was under the impression that I was going to have to give the full report, but it turns out that both of us did end up watching a majority of the games of that game. And so what I got from it was so coming in, it was really one-sided and not in the way that anyone was really expecting. Everyone was thinking that, the Cowboys are going to pretty much dominate. They're 15 and let's see, they were 13-4. So there's no reason why they should be losing to the wild card team in the 49ers that really didn't have any sort of identity at the quarterback spot. So a lot of people were just saying, hey, the Cowboys are going to win this game. There's going to be literally no trouble because the Cowboys are a better team on offense, a better team on defense. I think even I said it last week's podcast that, overall the Cowboys are a better team, but that doesn't mean you should discount the 49ers from possibly winning this game. And when I said don't discount, it seems like literally everyone, including the Cowboys, discounted the 49ers because the Niners pretty much just dominated this game with defense. That's pretty much where they hyper-focused on the weekend, it seems. And they just, for the offense, it seems like their plan was just be consistent with Deebo Samuel, some short passes with Jimmy G, and running out that clock. And that's really what we saw the entire game. The Niners dominated most of it, and at the end of the half, people were already saying, "Oh, wow, this is going to be another." I guess that was the first. Actually, people were going to say, "Oh, it's another blowout game," just like yesterday with the Bills and the Patriots. And so, I think people were really turning off the TV halftime because they were probably thinking it was over. And so then in the second half, the Cowboys managed to come back from their deficits, and the final score of the game was 23-17. Now, that's not really what anyone was really talking about this weekend. Most people were talking about, you know, the 1 second on the clock and all that other shenanigans. And I'd like to credit Urinating Tree for pointing certain things out about that game. Because there were a lot of instances where, they were ref balling it for the Cowboys, in the sense where, like, there was one time where, like, the clock said, like, was at 1, and then they added like 5 seconds back to it, so it was 105. And then there was another instance where the Shanahan calls a timeout at 38 seconds left, and then the clock is reset to 40 seconds instead, which was like really confusing. Now, working as a part of live streaming and stuff like that, I'm not going to say this is like the exact reason, because again, it's one person, me, working everything against like a full NFL crew that has, people running the scoreboard independently for the game and for the live stream. And, they have a bunch of staff, but I want to say that was just a technical mistake, that we weren't seeing the clock that the referees had, or we also weren't seeing the accurate game clock that was like at the stadium. So I want to say that's the reason why all the time stuff got messed up. I think it was more of a like stadium to television sort of thing, instead of like the television one was the accurate one. If that's not the case and the refs just gave him more time, that's when it becomes a problem. We're like, oh, we're giving teams more time to come back. Like, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I think what Leo's probably going to bring up, it is the Cowboys' fault. They lost the game because they were off on offense pretty much the entire time. I'll let you talk about some of the other points that you and I were discussing, because I don't want to take up the whole time.
Yeah, and then like I think what happened was that like initially I think this definitely should be a blowout game. I think the Niners didn't really capitalize on a lot of like their early offenses, like their early offense in the first half. I think they had like quite a few good shots. Like they were very close to the end zone. But they couldn't. They end up having to settle for field goal kicks. I think those should have been like touchdowns. If there will be the touchdowns, then I think the game will probably be over. That's even sooner. But it didn't happen. Now, what's kind of like maddening me here is that I think the Cowboys were like kind of like undisciplined. They drew a lot of penalties, right? There were like a lot of holdings. I couldn't understand what happened. Like, I'm just like watching it, I was like, really legitly? I mean, like as a Niners fan, I'm just like, I'm okay with you. If you want to like commit holding the entire game, then go for it. We're just going to like score more. But that's not fun. Like when you see a team that good, and this is like a postseason, it's not like, okay, we're like during the regular season, we're trying to get into playoffs. No, we're at a playoff. And then all of a sudden they start committing a lot of like penalty, holding. I'm just like, I just like kind of scratch my head. It's like, what was going on with the Cowboys? They should be better. Sending for the Niners, we have some like false starts. That really like pissed me off, because that had been an issue in the last couple games where you have linemen like committed 4-star. I'm just like, every time we had a 4-star, you kind of move your line back by at least like 10 yards. I don't know. Sometimes it's 15 yards penalty. And that's a lot. And just like annoying. And just like, they need to fix that mistake, right? If they don't, I don't know. I think it's scary, because like when the offense is going really well, that little penalty doesn't really hurt that much. It's when you don't know what your quarterback's gonna do that really scares you. Like even because the Niners did a lot of run game, but if you've been pushed back by 15 yards, unless your running back is that great, or like somehow you do a short pass to your wide receiver and then it's wide open, then maybe you'll get a first down. But the thing I worry about the most is like, what happened if you're second down and 15, or like second down and 20? That's like not fun at all. It's just like, okay, yeah, there we go. We're going to punt again. Like it's so predictable. So that was some of the things I saw that needs to clean up a little bit. Like, I don't know. Like it was fun. I'm glad I only watched the first half, just like keep it at a high note, and it's just like I'm gonna be away from the game because I was not like in front of TV. But that's like some of my observations.
Yeah. Another thing that was important to the game is that Jimmy G actually got hurt during the game, more hurt than he already
Yeah.
was, on his throwing hand, and
Yeah, he was trying to protect his thumb, and so that's why he landed awkwardly and then kind of like injured his shoulder.
yeah. So
Mhm.
that was another added reason why maybe the offense for the Niners wasn't like operating at full steam during the second half, is that Jimmy
Mhm.
was hurt, or he was or he was feeling more hurt than usual, and
Mhm.
so I, I I think that's the reason why they had a really hard time scoring in the second half.
Mhm.
As of right now, I believe that everyone was at practice for the 49ers this week.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
I mean, Jimmy G could be practicing hurt, which is not something uncommon in the league where, a quarterback will play even if they're hurt. I mean, it's supposedly his last season with the Niners. So he could technically just say, hey, I'm trying to protect my investment here. I'm going to sit it out. I don't feel like well, which he's totally allowed to do that. But do you think he's trying to prove something here, that he is the 49ers starter? Or do you think that the organization is definitely like feeling like it's time to move on?
No, I don't think it's clear. I think Shanahan really likes him. I think the players really love him. Like you could tell, like the whole team has like this, like it's all behind him, behind Jimmy, and then they trust him, they love him. And I think Jimmy was trying to like he has really shown that he really trying to bust his ass off, but off to just like playing really well. And he came through. I feel like the last couple of weeks, um, he had been very like a pretty good. Like we'll just say that at times he do like those one or two interceptions, but I just feel like almost all the quarterbacks did that. Like I don't know anyone didn't do an interception. Maybe there were a few, but
I think
I
Tom
think
Brady has 5, and Aaron Rodgers has 3, I think.
yeah, like, but when they do the interceptions, nobody kind of like weren't really that critical of them because they win the game, right? But like with Jimmy, it's almost like, oh, because you're in the very, yeah, like if you keep throwing interception, because I think what happened was he has a history of throwing interceptions, and then that cost them the game, and that's why like people were really mad about it. But if you look at the last couple games or three or so, like he has been pretty good, and with the games where he didn't do interception, they actually won. And even the ones, I think the one they did against the Rams, he actually do one of them, and I no two. He do two, but they managed to win the game. So I thought that was pretty impressive. Like with this like Cowboys game, he do one. I think it's because his shoulders was really bothering him. I think at the press conference, like I think it was yesterday or the day before, he was saying that like yeah, that somebody asked him like, so is your thumb and shoulder bothering you? And he just replied yes. He was like they asked him if it's either or, but he just said yes.
Yes.
So it really that bothers him. But I think he's gonna be able to play even through the pain. Because
Right.
I think you and I kind of agreed that if they have to go face Aaron Rodgers, he might be better, like to lead a team to actually beat them, right?
I mean, I saw a little bit of how Trey Lance played, and it didn't look great. Not to say that he can't be coached to be great. He's just not there. He's not even close to the quality of quarterback Jimmy G is.
Yeah, it's the experience wise, right? The experience really
Yeah,
shows. Yeah, like reading the
I'm more
fields.
confident in seeing how Jimmy G played in the first half, that if he can maintain that quality throughout the game, that you guys have a pretty good chance. But the defense has to be fantastic, because Aaron Rodgers is a different type of person. That's getting into the preview and predictions, which we will get to in a bit.
Right.
Um,
Right. And then I heard this thing where like they say like Niners is actually has the worst man-to-man coverage. And that's why they just been doing the zone coverage. Now I understand why they do that, because at certain times, like when I say like I was so mad when the other team keep converting third down. Well, I'm pretty sure like the defense coordinator, they knew that they would love to do man-to-man coverage, but because they haven't been able to do so this season, and so there's just
Right.
like just default to zone coverage. Actually, like Niners ranked the last in man-to-man coverage. I'm just so sad. Like the last, really? Oh my goodness.
It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Man,
depressing actually.
but you could really tell like Shanahan was having you know, Patriots versus the Falcons Super Bowl flashbacks during the game because he was about to blow that lead. That
No, he was stressed. I think he mentioned that he was really stressed. He was just worried that they're gonna lose the game.
right. So yeah, got anything else for the Niners report?
No, it was good. It was a good win. I felt really good because I was actually after the first half I was out hiking with a friend, and then like
Yeah.
at the end after the hike I was like, let me check my Niners score. They won. I was really happy. I was like, oh my god, they won!
Yeah.
They beat the odds because I don't think most people just say like, we felt like the Dollars, they will have some edge over the Niners. I didn't know it was gonna be this good for the Niners.
Yeah. Side comment. My mom's actually a 49ers fan. I know, weird, right? My mom's a 49ers fan. My dad's a Rams fan, and I'm a Chargers fan. The point is, my mom was almost having a heart attack at the end of the game, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe
No,
this is happening."
it was too intense. That's why I told you like that's why I had you like say you better jot some notes down because I don't think I could watch the game knowing that this is gonna like cost me like a few years of my life.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
was a good game.
watched the whole game. It was fun for sure.
It was kind of intense like towards the end actually. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, with that, it is time for NFL Super Wildcard Weekend review. So the first matchup we had the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and actually probably the most fun match this week. I think I liked it more than San Francisco versus Dallas because it was really close. Both teams were pretty much neck to neck, exactly like everyone anticipated it would be. Both teams were 10-7. The Raiders were coming through a lot of adversities, like I mentioned last week, and the Bengals just been really solid the last couple of weeks. Bengals came up with this win. Joe Burrow looked amazing. He threw 0 interceptions, which, if you look at throughout the season, Joe Burrow throws at least 1 or 2 picks per game. So the fact that he didn't throw any picks this game just showed how awesome he is under pressure. A lot of people on Twitter were agreeing with my opinion that Joe Burrow has championship experience from his college days, and that the moment is never too big for him, and it really showed here because he was just solid throughout the entire game, which is not something you could say about a lot of the games that happened this weekend.
Yeah.
So
He looked really calm. Like even when he was about to be pressured, to be like sacked, he just looked really calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, if you'd like to go back and watch the live stream, me and Lee covered this game. We have plans on covering something for the next week, so just stay tuned. We're gonna talk about it in a bit. But yeah, a really solid game between the Bengals and the Raiders. At the end, my pettiness was showing because I was just very glad that the Bengals eliminated the Raiders because the Raiders eliminated the Chargers. So just a really good game. And yeah, you do you have anything else to say about
No, I
this
think
game?
Raiders they were out of timeouts. And so I think at one point they were at fourth down, very close to the end zone, and the Bengals defense were able to bring down the player, and so it was a couple like inches short, and that was pretty much the game.
Yes.
No, it was not bring down the alignment. It was an interception at the end zone before the end zone, and that ends the game. So you could tell the Raiders were desperate because they were out of timeouts, and so they were trying very hard to just get things going. Derek Carr was able to, and the offense line was able to push and push, but that interception really cost them.
Yeah,
But,
I thought it was gonna go. I thought I thought most of the games this week were gonna go into overtime.
Right.
Just because like the week before, the last week of the NFL, we had like 3 back-to-back overtimes, and
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, oh my goodness, this game, the next game, possibly San Francisco and the Cardinals
And
game is going to
Cowboys,
go
yeah,
all into
Cardinals.
overtime.
Yeah.
And so, that didn't turn out that way. I kind of wish it would have, because it was better than what we got, as you can see on the screen. But yeah, I'd say this is the best game this week. So if you watch the first game and didn't watch anything else, you probably got the best of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, I felt the same way too, because after we live streamed this game, I think besides the Niners game, I didn't find any other games that were particularly interesting. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, which doesn't leave us with a lot to talk about, which if we cover some of these games really quick, it's because there was really nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it's straight up blow up game, basically.
Yeah.
Blowout game.
All right, speaking of blowouts, the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills, man, that was just a massacre. There was no point where the Patriots looked good.
Yeah. I heard this thing where like on every possession, like so Bills, they never punt, right? They never kick a field goal. Every possession of the ball they have, it's to a touchdown.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy. I was like, where's the Patriots defense in this game? Like unbelievable.
Yeah, Mac Jones looked terrible. The offense looked terrible. The defense looked terrible. Like, just everything looked bad for the Patriots from beginning to end. I mean, they threw a couple of garbage time touchdowns and a field goal, but I mean, nothing really here to write about. Buffalo just looked focused.
Yeah.
This was this is a really strong Patriots team that fell to Buffalo. Even if the Chargers had made the playoffs, I think we would have gotten beat by the Bills too.
You think so?
That's the only thing that came to mind when I was watching this game. I was like, oh my God, if it was the Chargers going to the Buffalo Bills, like, we would have gotten scraped.
Oh no, I feel like if you have if you guys play a bad Josh Allen, then maybe you guys have a chance.
No, but
Josh
man,
Allen was solid. Like there was one video clip I saw where he kind of like almost out of the bound, and he was doing it to one of the guys at the end. So
he only had 4 incompletions the entire game.
Oh my goodness.
Which is crazy. Yeah. Blowout game. The only noteworthy thing to talk about was Josh Allen just being amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he's like finding his rhythm again. Like, because I remember
probably
they had quite a few weeks where we were like, what was going on with the Bills?
yeah. There was a lot of weeks where we were not sure what was going on with them, but yeah, they showed up, they showed out, and yeah, got the win. Moving on to the next round.
Yeah.
All right, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another blowout.
Yeah,
I actually didn't watch this game. This is the only game I didn't watch.
No, I kind of just followed the score that I just like. Oh, it was so bad. Like I gotta watch a little bit on my phone. I'm just like, it was like one touchdown after another by the Buccaneers. I'm just like, well,
yeah,
too bad for the Eagles. They're playing against Tom Brady.
From what I could see, like the 15 points. I watched a little bit at the end, but Most of those points are garbage time points.
Oh yeah, I
Nothing
think they just
really
let them.
in the
Yeah,
beginning of the game or anything like that.
right.
Yeah, so nothing to say here. Tampa Bay wins. Yeah. All right. San Francisco versus Dallas Cowboys. We already talked about this at the beginning of the show with the San Francisco report. The only other thing is someone asked Mike McCarthy about why he did a quarterback draw in the second to last play of the game, and whether if it was the wrong play to have called, and he said it was the right call, which is really weird because that kind of did cost them the game because they were scrambling to get the ball set,
Yeah,
and
and then they were kind of like they should know that they were out of timeouts, and so whatever they do, if they don't go off the bound, then that means that will cost them more time.
yeah,
They're gonna have a lot. I think their owner Jerry Jones was not happy about it either. So like was
no,
disappointed.
it was
He wasn't
bad.
happy. Yeah, it was bad.
Also, he was asked about if he truly had watched all the games of the previous season, and I think he replied with something like, "No, I just said that in the interview so I could get hired." And I was like, why would you say that? Why would you lie before and then not follow through with your lie after? Just say, "Yes, I did. I watched every game." Like, dude, like it's just
That wasn't
common
helping his case.
logic.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I noticed is that his like coordinators are being interviewed. So the Cowboys like defense and offense coordinators, they're being interviewed by all the teams for different positions. I think the head coach positions. Um, so yeah, I mean maybe that's good for Cowboys. No
What do they
offense to Cowboys fan, yeah.
what do they pay Dak? Like $13 million, and
Oh no. He was being paid because like with the extension, I think he's being paid. I don't know if it's effective this year or next season. I think it's 40 million.
holy cow. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
I
what I was
guess
thinking. Like people were complaining about how Jimmy G is being paid like 24, 25 millions. People are already like going crazy. Like, why are we paying him so much? You look at that. He's being paid a lot of money, or like a Mahomes and somebody else, like they're pay over $40 million. I'm just like, wow.
yeah. Yeah.
But I think
All right.
another thing we saw also were like fans were really upset. So they were doing things at the refs.
Oh yeah. And then we'll talk about this later, but
We'll
yes,
talk
people
about
are throwing things at fans. I actually have a report for that at the end of the show, so we'll talk about that a little later on. Pittsburgh versus Kansas City. Pretty much Sunday Night Football. It was boring as hell.
It gave me some hope, that, right? Because at first it was like Steelers was up 7-0. I was like, I gotta be kidding me, right? Steelers gonna win this game.
The Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I thought they were. They probably had a good chance. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a good game. And no, like that hope was like short-lived, right?
Nope.
So like pretty soon it was like 7-21. Chiefs were leading, and the Chiefs just widened the gap. Like it was, the Steelers had no chance.
Yeah, I stopped watching the second half because I was like, "Ooh, this is a massacre."
Yeah.
Okay, Arizona Cardinals versus the LA Rams, and
I hear you fell asleep.
I did. I was watching this game, and it was 0 Arizona, LA 14, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm dozing off. Like this is just giving me Kansas City Pittsburgh vibes." So I fell asleep, and then I woke up and Kyler Murray throws an interception from the end zone, and LA recovers it to score a touchdown, all in the
That was
same
an easy
play.
touchdown.
And I was like, "Oh my god! Like this is what I woke up to."
Yeah.
So
No, it was bad. The first half was 21-0. Rams were
Yeah.
leading. And I watched a little bit of this game like when I was out dining, and I'm just like, come on, Cards. Look, make it competitive. Like I don't want this to be one-sided. But it was clearly one-sided. It's pretty sad.
You and me talked about this game last week, and we were saying like it was gonna be the closest game, and they turned out to be nothing like we were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what happened with the Cardinals, to be honest. Like they started the season hot. I think they were on the winning streak, 9-game winning streak. And since then they didn't play well at all, you know.
Yeah. So, it just shows how much we know about football. I mean, I don't think
every
anyone
week is different.
I didn't hear anyone say there was just going to be a bunch of blowouts. But that's what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
Nothing too exciting this week. All right. Yeah. Let's move on to NFL Divisional Round preview and predictions. Starting off on Saturday, we have the 1:30 game, which will be the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Tennessee Titans. Actually, I'll be watching all 4 of these games. I have an interest in all of them. So, like we were talking about,
Joseph's gonna jot down notes, so we have more like detail.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take notes because there's not a lot of content left.
Yes,
this season. Okay, Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, absolutely amazing performance last week. Even with the play where he stepped out of bounds, and I guess the referee called for the whistle like mid play, like when the ball was already in the air. And then they canceled it, and then it was marked touchdown, even though the Raiders were saying it wasn't. Like, Anywho, that was last week's stuff. Titans, they actually got the bye, so that's why we didn't see them last week. Right. And so Titans are coming back. Derrick Henry is supposed to be coming back as well.
Mm-hmm.
So these two teams are really weird because they're really like hot and cold. Like you and I were talking about, the Titans losing to the Jets. Who loses to the Jets?
Yeah.
And so then we have Cincy, who wins a lot of good games like Kansas City and then loses like really stupid games as well to like the Jaguars. And I'm like how? And so this is gonna be another edition of who chokes less.
I think Bengals look pretty good, but I don't want to discount like Titans because like, hey, Derrick Henry, like he's gonna run for the team. So
yeah, I also like want to say like Ryan Tannehill, when he is in the zone, he is in the zone. Like he's really good. He's not a big name like Mahomes. He's not a big name like Herbert. He's not a big name like Aaron Rodgers, but he gets the job done when it's needed. So if he gets into that playoff clutch mode, kind of like what we saw with Josh Allen, then I think that this is going to be a really close game. Cincinnati just needs to continue their momentum of winning and having like that playoff mode Josh Allen that we saw last week. And he needs to step it up a little bit because they're both explosive offenses. So it's really going to come down to like which defense cracks more than the other one.
Right. Yeah. I think this should be a very interesting matchup between the two. Yeah. Because I have not seen them play against each other this season. Or I don't remember. That's all.
Yeah. So I actually got Cincy winning this one.
Me too. I think they're gonna win very closely. I think people are favoring the Titans because obviously they won the conference, right? So they were conference leader. They were number 1 seed. So I should say that to just make sure. So they're favored to win this game. The Titans are favored to win this game, but I think the Bengals they seem pretty solid. So I'm also going to go with the Bengals. I just want to see what Joe Burrow can do. It's amazing. I like his performance.
You could have also predicted our prediction by looking at the outline tonight. So That would have been a pretty good
I think we're a little
indicator.
bit biased because I think we just based on the game we saw last week, we just were
Probably.
impressed by Joe Burrow,
Probably
basically.
recency bias. I
Yeah,
also
it
just
is.
like younger quarterbacks. Like maybe it's because I've been more into the NFL recently, and so I really like Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Maybe that's just the style of play that I enjoy the most.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think maybe it's the way they play the football, not necessarily because Burrow doesn't really run that much. In the last game, I think he just have his running back or just do the work or have his like passing the ball to his receiver. He didn't really run that much.
No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cool.
yeah. All right. The game that I'm assuming you're looking forward to the most, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, I'm gonna fingers crossed on this one. Niners, let's win this game. I think if we can win this game, there's a good chance that well, I don't know. Like I don't know how Niners play against the Bucks. I don't know. Or the
I
Rams.
I think this is the
But I
tough.
really I think this is gonna be a top matchup for one reason. The weather. Because it's super cold. I hear it's gonna be 0 degree
Oh wow.
over there. And then like there was on radio like they interview players. A lot of players were really young. They say like they're very young. They say like I've never played at 0 degree temperature. And then you have like George Kittle say like, oh, bring it on, baby. Like I used to play at this like very cold weather. No problem. We'll deal with it. Like he was so excited about playing at
And
Limbo Field, you know.
Jimmy G used
Um,
to play at with the Patriots, so it shouldn't be
Yeah, like
too big of
even
a
when he
problem.
was like in Illinois, I think because he was from Illinois, right? And so he said like, yeah, he used to play like summer games in like very cold weather. So yeah, I mean, I really like the Niners to win this game. I'm just gonna say they might win. They should win. I really want them to. I want to see what they can do, like in NFC. Um, because I want them to repeat. I'm not repeat 2019 season though. I don't want that repeat because the repeat means that they will lose,
You
right?
want them to
But
improve from the
I
2019
want them to
season.
improve to get back to where they were in 2019. But I think the team looks solid right now. I think there are a lot of things they're trying to improve, especially the special team. I think the special team has come around pretty well. They just need to be very careful about the fake punt
Yeah.
and make sure that they punt and make sure the ball landing at the right place. Then they should be okay. I'm very excited because Nick Bosa is back. I don't know if he's going to be clear of the concussion protocol before the game on Saturday, but if he can play, then that'll be good. I want to see somebody pressure Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers doesn't. I just feel like there's no defense really are able to give like Aaron Rodgers a tough time. Like even the games they lost, he didn't really seem that caring about those losses.
Right.
Yeah, so let's go Niners. Just please win this game, even by a point. I don't mind, but don't make silly mistakes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching well, all of the games, but
Yeah,
the 49ers have been on a roll. Some lucky breaks, some unlucky breaks as well, as we saw
yeah,
last week.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's really going to depend, in my opinion. The game's going to be in Jimmy G's hands. If he is consistently good, like he was in the first half of last week's game, it's going to be really close between these two teams because San Francisco has an excellent defense, which I think will be able to hold Aaron Rodgers down just enough to keep this really close.
yeah.
If not, then I honestly
It's gonna be
think Green
hard.
Bay's going to run away with this because
Yeah,
they have an excellent offense. They have a
right.
really decent defense. It's probably the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
And
well,
we've been saying
I
this
need,
for a really long time.
yeah, we need to like have two players like cover like Devontae Adams.
Yes. Yeah, probably
No
double
nonsense
coverage.
anymore. Like last time when they played in week 3, Devontae Adams like he kept getting those like nice catches from Rodgers. Like there was like with what 28 seconds left. I was so upset. I was like, oh come on, nobody double cover him. Why, dude, man, come on. So I hope they learn their lesson, but we'll see.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with the Packers here. I wish the Niners to win this game because my mom's a Niners fan and Lee's a Niners fan, so I'm rooting for the Niners.
Yeah,
I just don't realistically think that it's happening.
yeah.
And I've been wrong. I was wrong last week. I could be wrong again. Hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean the Packers they're solid and they're playing at home. There's no reason that they're not favoring to win this game. They're a good team, right?
Yeah.
But like we said, I think the run offense has to work for the Niners. The one thing I heard was that the Packers they didn't have really good run defense, so maybe we could exploit that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
All right.
yes.
The Los Angeles Rams at Tampa Bay.
Ooh, what do you get? Like, cause your dad's a Rams fan, so I think you probably have like strong opinion about this.
I do. It is literally the underdog story. The worst quarterback ever in the last 10 years versus the greatest quarterback in like the last 10 years. Matt Stafford versus Tom Brady. It really is something to talk about here. It's the Rams have been mildly inconsistent throughout the season, but last week they really showed that they're the one of the teams to beat. If they're not the number 2 team in the NFL, I really don't know who is.
Yeah.
Maybe the Bills from their performance last week, but I think the Rams just obliterated their competition. The defense is looking incredible. There were no mistakes by the defense at all last week, which is not something you can say about any other team right now. So, LA might just win this based on defense alone. We've seen Tom Brady crack under the pressure of a defense. The Saints beat them. They scored 0 points against the Saints. And the Saints were a mediocre team the entire season. The only reason they were competitive this season was because of their defense.
Right.
So I think that if this momentum continues from the Rams, it's going to be another shutout.
Yeah, it could be because didn't they play each other like in one of the week and the Rams just dominated the Bucks.
Let me verify this, but I do believe that they beat the Bucks.
Yeah, they beat the Bucks.
So let me see. Open new window. Let's see. Tampa Bay versus LA Rams. Oh man, I gotta type ESPN. So September 26th, which was really early in the season. Los Angeles 34-24.
Yeah.
So yeah, confirmed the Rams did beat them. And I think they were looking
a great defense.
Yeah, the defense won them that game. And I think they were looking shakier back then than they are now. So I got the Rams winning this one by 21 points.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty good. You know what? I really want to see the Rams win so we could have this Niners and Rams matchup again.
That's rematch?
That's my wish. Come on. The only thing that would kind of like prevent the Rams from winning is that if the old Matthew Stafford show up.
Oh,
that's the only thing I want to say. That the thing is, I remember you told me about like, Matthew Stafford's like Tom Brady. They also kind of crack under the pressure, and so I don't know. like the Bucks is a little bit unpredictable with their defense. Like sometimes their defense was so good, but at times they were like, their defense was all right. So I don't know, but let's hope that the Rams will take this one. I think the Rams will go all in. They go all out to get a lot of players, and so now is the time to beat the Bucks and move on.
Yep. All right. The Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This is what, 2019's AFC Championship rematch.
I think this one is going to be very interesting.
I think this is going to be the best game of the week.
I do feel that way too. But hey, would you say, like, so I know you also like the Patrick Mahomes, like you kind of like Chiefs overall, but what do you think, what if the Bills win this game? Like, how would you feel? Like, I feel like it would be very interesting to see the Bills actually win this game because I think they were kind of short last season.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. The Bills played fantastic last week against a really good team in the Patriots. They obliterated their defense, which tells me that they're probably going to obliterate Kansas City defense as well. Kansas City is not known for defense, so I expect this to be a high-scoring contest. Although Buffalo's defense looked decent, but that's really out of context because the Patriots' offense is not great. So we're not sure like where it is in terms of like against the really high-powered offense. So I want to say this is going to be really close. There's going to be no defense in this game. It's just going to be back and forth between Mahomes. My prediction is that this will come down to whoever has the ball last.
Sounds like
that's the only thing.
You made it sound like we're going to go overtime with this one.
It's a possibility. Both teams are extremely good at offense. Maybe Buffalo's defense is slightly better than Kansas City.
Yeah. What? I really want to see the Buffaloes move on from, win this game and just continue because I want to know what they can do in the AFC Championship. I don't know.
I think
that's just me. I like Mahomes, but then it's just they're very unlucky they're playing against the Buffaloes.
Yeah, I honestly think if we get Cincy versus the Bills or Kansas City, it's going to be a great match regardless.
Matchup. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So I don't have a choice here. But if you forced me to choose, I'd probably go Bills.
Yeah, I do feel like Bills might have a shot. Or this game could get ugly too. Because we've been wrong. Like we were wrong like last week about the Rams and Cardinals.
Yeah, but everyone predicted Kansas City was gonna beat
the Bills.
The Steelers. The Steelers. No one predicted. No one predicted Buffalo was gonna destroy the Patriots.
The Patriots, yeah. Yeah. So. I like how Josh Allen was playing last week. So, either way, I don't have like I just think I would be super excited if the Bills actually like win this game. But if not, then it's not a big deal for me because like first of all, I'm not the players, but it's like they're both fun teams to watch. We want to have good teams to play. We don't want a team that's kind of like get lucky, and move on to the next round.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Both of us have the Bills. One last time, a rundown of who we got. Both Lee and I have Bengals winning. Lee has the Niners winning next week. And I have Green Bay winning. LA, both of us.
Yeah, we got LA.
And then we have the Bills, both of us. So the only game we're disagreeing on is San Francisco Packers. Yeah. That's because Lee has faith in his team.
Yeah, I mean, like I just like we beat the Packers in 2019. We'll Dude, let's do it again. Let's have this rematch just to see like who's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a couple of news articles here.
Mhm. So what's up? Like I said, we haven't seen we don't seem to have a lot of like NFL news for a really long time. Ever since John Gruden's news,
Yeah,
I think
things have been quieter.
a little bit quiet. Occasionally, players got in DUI, or like Antonio Brown got released, things like that, but nothing too big.
So we actually have a bunch of fines this week.
Ooh,
I think
what happened?
we have $75,000 worth of fines, which crazy to me. So the first one, and the probably least important one, is Bruce Arians actually hit his one of his players while he was on the sideline, and the league has fined him $50,000, which is like, it's crazy to me that you would strike someone in front of a camera, in front of everybody, internationally and to national television.
Right.
Like, what were you thinking?
No, but then what I thought was like he kind of like slapped at the player's helmet and kind of like trying to do something with his elbow. He's kind of elbow him to the helmet. I was like, I couldn't understand what he was trying to do at that moment. And I heard Bruce Arians was trying to appeal, so that way he didn't have to pay the fine. But I don't know what's up there.
Yeah. Here it says that he's going to try to appeal it, which, I mean, I don't know why you would try to egg on. Arians does have a reputation, as we've been discussing with the Antonio Brown situation, which has not been cleared up yet. So, yeah, just a lot of weird things going on in the Bucs side of the camp. Hopefully they can get away from this wave of, bad news. This is how kind of like the Raiders season starts. So hopefully this is like not a continuing thing for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
All right. The other news article is Dak Prescott got fined for $25,000 for saying that it was a good thing that the fans threw trash at the referees. Let me see if the tweet is here. Okay, so he didn't. It's not the. Okay, so the tweet is not here, but basically, Dak Prescott said it was a good thing that the fans had thrown trash at the referees in a tweet, and then pretty much retracted his statement afterwards. This came because there was the last play of the game was caused because there was a quarterback draw play called, second to last play. Dak goes up the middle and then gets the first down. But then as he's getting up, he and his team set the ball, and then the referee from the back comes running up all the way to the front and then bumps into Dak trying to set the ball. And so then he like scrambles to the side, so he has to go around two different bodies to set the ball, and there was only 1 second left when he had set the ball. Dak hikes it, but then, as he's going to spike the ball, the timer hits 0. So the game has already ended. Yeah. And pretty much all Cowboys fans were trying to say that, oh, it's ref ball, like, oh, they stole the game for us. Oh, the more ref ball, always messing with the Cowboys. And so it was like, it wasn't quite, the ref's fault that Mike McCarthy called a quarterback draw, and that ran the timer out.
Too. Yeah.
And you're a professional. You should know that the the referee has to set the ball. If the referee does not set the ball, not only is it a penalty, but you withdraw 10 seconds from the timer. So it didn't matter what you did,
Right.
because the timer was going to be gone anyways.
Right.
So players said things that, heat of the moment, they were probably thinking that they were probably really angry at the refs. And so I don't know. It's just really dumb. Like, if you're angry, just don't go on social media. That is the best thing you can do. Don't ever voice your frustrations to thousands of people, because most likely you are not in the right mindset to be saying anything to begin with.
Right.
Say all the stuff behind the cameras with your friends, but just don't say it out in public. This is a $25,000 tweet. Why?
Yeah. I mean, well, Dad has a lot of money. There you go.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's fine. He's a quarterback. He's being paid a lot of money.
40 million, right? 25 pocket change.
1,000. That's like nothing.
Pocket
come
change. They can do the GQ, like how everyone spent their first million. $25,000 spent on
spending on the same things about the refs. There we go.
Yeah, a ref fine. So yeah, referees
it was
don't.
a resort thing. Yeah,
those referees
but it was
better
really
not
nice
step in
to
Dallas.
learn. Yeah, but it was really nice to learn that the ref has to touch the ball. The ref is the only person to set the ball, not the player.
Yeah. So
apparently that was a hard lesson for them.
Hey man, Cowboys fans are something else.
But look, there were some people saying like, how can they never think it? Thought about like throw the ball deep down to the end zone. They should try that. Because that would change the outcome. If somebody actually caught the ball, then maybe they could do 2-point conversion. They could have won the game. But
I believe Hail Mary ranges like around 40 to 50 yards. So
it's doable, but it's just like they didn't have a lot of time.
Like if you watch Urinating Tree's video about the greatest game, he should have gone down like 10 yards before to have enough time.
Right.
So
yeah, he kept running. Okay, so look, like in the videos, like I feel like I watched different highlights. I just felt like that was a good run, but it was a good run at the moment. But given that they only have a certain amount of time, it was not a good idea. He probably should just like lay down and then like trying to make another play or so, right?
Well, the play shouldn't have happened. The quarterback draw play should have never happened to begin with.
He should just pass, right?
Yeah,
but
pass.
But
okay,
I don't know. It was weird. But weird things happen in football games. So why are we surprised?
Yeah. All right, that brings us to the end of the show. We filled our quota of time. I'm actually surprised.
No, I actually thought this was pretty good. That was the first time, really when we only have a few games or so games as opposed to more than 10 games. I think it gives us a lot of opportunities to kind of narrow in on some of the details of the games. Not super detailed, but it was good enough for us to enjoy. Like we said, there were a lot of games last week weren't that great. It was hard to watch them just because it was just one-sided. There was really nothing we can say much about it. But yeah.
Yeah, so here's hoping that we get some more interesting games this week. I think we will. And I think it'll be easier to pay a more detailed attention to each one of these games because it's only 4 games and they're pretty decent teams. So here's hoping, eh?
Yeah, hope for the best, man.
Yeah. All right. You can follow me at Zephyr the Scribe. You can follow Lee at Amos Lee Huang if he allows you. You can also follow both of us on the Joe Lee podcast on Twitter. And we will actually be live streaming the Sunday night game between the Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. So if that is
Are we
something,
doing that? I thought we're doing the Bengals instead.
oh, are we doing that one? I can't remember.
Okay, anyway. But either one, regardless of which one we choose to do, I think it should be pretty good.
Yes,
yeah,
keep an
I
eye
think-
out on the subscription box. We will have that. As soon as this goes up, the pre-live stream should already be up, so you'll know which game we're doing. So we're either doing the first game on Saturday, or we are doing the Sunday game between Kansas City and the Bills. So yeah, keep an eye on for the channel, and we will keep you guys posted on Twitter and on YouTube. So that being
right.
said, I'm Joseph Yanez, joined by Lee. Have a good night.